Long before the borders of modern Africa were drawn, there was a king whose name inspired both loyalty and fear. He ruled over the mighty Ndebele Kingdom with courage, wisdom, and an unshakable love for his people. But when one of the world's most powerful empires demanded his land, he faced an impossible choice: surrender everything he had built or fight for the freedom of his nation. The Ndebele Kingdom was one of southern Africa's strongest nations. Its people were skilled farmers, fearless warriors, and proud protectors of their traditions. Under King Lobengula's leadership, the kingdom prospered, and its rich lands became the envy of outsiders. Far away in Europe, powerful businessmen and politicians dreamed of expanding the British Empire across Africa. They had heard stories of fertile land, valuable minerals, and vast wealth hidden within the king's territory. Soon, they began making plans that would change history forever. One of the most determined men was Cecil Rhodes. Through his company, he sought control over the king's lands. Representatives were sent to negotiate agreements, promising friendship and prosperity. But hidden within those promises were ambitions that threatened the future of the Ndebele Kingdom. At first, King Lobengula hoped peace could be preserved. He welcomed discussions but remained cautious. He understood that once foreign powers gained influence over his kingdom, protecting his people's independence would become far more difficult. As negotiations failed, more British settlers and armed forces moved toward Ndebele territory. Villages watched nervously as strangers entered their homeland, bringing uncertainty and fear. The king realized that peace might no longer be possible. Knowing the danger ahead, King Lobengula gathered his warriors. They were not fighting for riches or conquest. They were preparing to defend their families, their traditions, and the land their ancestors had protected for generations. The king knew his army faced a powerful enemy equipped with modern weapons. Even so, surrender was never his first choice. He believed that the freedom of his people was worth every sacrifice. Before long, war reached the borders of the kingdom. The peaceful sounds of village life were replaced by marching soldiers, distant gunfire, and the fear of what tomorrow might bring. The first battles would change the destiny of the kingdom forever. Outnumbered and facing advanced weapons, the Ndebele fought with extraordinary courage. Their struggle was no longer just for land, it had become a fight to preserve their identity, their freedom, and the legacy of their ancestors. The fighting grew more intense with each passing day. Although the Ndebele warriors fought with incredible courage, they were facing rifles and Maxim guns that could fire hundreds of rounds in minutes. Brave men fell defending the homeland they loved. Watching his kingdom suffer broke King Lobengula's heart. Every village that burned and every family forced to flee weighed heavily on him. He knew his greatest responsibility was no longer winning the war but saving as many of his people as possible. Refusing to let his people suffer even more, the king ordered many families to leave the dangerous areas. Mothers carried their children, elders walked beside them, and entire communities searched for safety as war spread across the kingdom. Rather than allow the enemy to capture his royal capital, King Lobengula made a painful decision. He ordered that parts of the royal settlement be abandoned and destroyed, ensuring that little of value would fall into enemy hands. As British forces entered the capital, they discovered that the king had already disappeared. Rather than surrender, he had begun a long and dangerous journey into the wilderness with only a small group of loyal followers. Deep in the forests, the king continued moving from place to place. Food became scarce, disease spread, and exhaustion tested everyone traveling with him. Yet he refused to give up hope. As weeks passed, stories about the king spread across southern Africa. Some believed he would return with a new army. Others feared he had fallen ill while escaping through the wilderness. No one knew the truth. Then came heartbreaking news. Reports emerged that King Lobengula had died while fleeing through the forests. The exact details remain uncertain even today, making his final days one of southern Africa's enduring historical mysteries. When his people learned of his death, grief spread throughout the kingdom. They had lost more than a king. They had lost a leader who chose the safety of his people over his own life. Although his kingdom was conquered, King Lobengula's courage was never forgotten. His determination to protect his people became a lasting symbol of resistance, sacrifice, and the enduring spirit of Africa. Even after his death, King Lobengula refused to disappear from history. His courage became a symbol of resistance, inspiring generations of Africans who believed that freedom was worth defending, no matter the cost. Although the Ndebele Kingdom fell under colonial rule, its culture never disappeared. Families continued telling stories of their brave king, ensuring that his name would never be forgotten. Across Zimbabwe today, King Lobengula is remembered not only as a ruler but as a protector who placed his people above his own safety. His story continues to inspire courage, dignity, and resilience. Historians still debate parts of the king's final journey. Because records from that time were incomplete, some details remain uncertain. Yet his determination to protect his people is supported by historical accounts and remains central to his legacy. His story reminds us that true leadership is not measured by victories alone. Sometimes, it is measured by the sacrifices made for others during the darkest moments. Around the world, powerful empires have risen and fallen, but the courage shown by ordinary people and extraordinary leaders continues to outlive every empire. The story of King Lobengula is not just about war. It is about love for a homeland, loyalty to a people, and the difficult choices that define true leadership. Today, his legacy lives on in books, museums, and the memories passed from one generation to the next. His life reminds us that history is more than dates. It is the story of people who refuse to give up. Every nation has heroes whose sacrifices shaped the future. King Lobengula's courage continues to remind Africa that dignity, freedom, and hope are worth preserving for generations to come. Thank you for watching this episode of Depth Vault. If this story moved you, remember that Africa's history is filled with extraordinary people whose sacrifices deserve to be remembered. Subscribe and join us as we uncover more forgotten stories that changed our world.